Hello everyone, I'm Pablo Cano, Director of the International Project Office of Catholic University of Murcia and Director of the LIVERUR project. First and foremost, thank you very much for being present today. I welcome you to the first day of Knowledge Transfer Session event, which will be about the experience of the pilot regions. I give way to our partner Helio Pereira from FRCT, who will be the moderator of today's session. Best regards.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody.
Me?
And welcome to the roundtable, the first roundtable dedicated to farm-to-fork strategy. And my name is Sabrina Rosati, and I'm from E35 Foundation, that I am as a partner of LIVERUR project. And in this first roundtable, we will discuss about the role of multifunctionality linked to the farm-to-fork strategy and how much is important multifunctionality for the development of local businesses and also the local development at territorial level. With me, there will be speakers from CRPA, that is the Research Center of Reggio Emilia, dedicated to agriculture, Paolo Mantovi, and Sabina Cantarelli, that is the president of La Strada del Vino, linked to the Union of Trasimeno Lakes. We will start with the first aspect of this roundtable, that is about how much multifunctionality around food production could be an asset to innovate and make businesses more sustainable. And I will ask Paolo to say something about.
Thank you, Sabrina, for your question. I hope you can hear me. What I can say is that here in Reggio Emilia, that is my city and is a city with a rural vocation. In fact, you can think about Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, Parma ham, Lambrusco wine, and so on. We have been working to implement the multifunctionality just as a way to innovate and make agricultural businesses more sustainable. In particular, we are doing this action all around. I mean, trying to cover as much as possible all the various aspects of the multifunctionality within the Edible Park initiative. And you will see a short video presentation afterwards. What is the Edible Park? The Edible Park, it is a peri-urban agricultural project that has been set up 5 years ago. And it was inspired by the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact that derived from Expo 2015. It was set up as an EIP Agri operational group funded by the Emilia-Romagna region, by its rural development program. And it was intended to be a sustainable production system model to bring high-quality food products, in particular, I mean mainly vegetables, to the local consumers, while at the same time trying to stimulate the societal engagement in the farming activity. So we have tried to implement as much as possible the multifunctionality in this system with the idea that only the multifunctionality can be the key for the success of the initiative. So, for example, what we have done is agroforestation using planting mulberry trees in the Edible Park. We planted around 80 plants for 1 hectare. In this way, improving the biodiversity and restoring the traditional landscape. The organic farming is the production method used at the Edible Park. The irrigation is a precise irrigation using drip lines. We have tried experiences to include disadvantaged workers in the park, We try to involve the local community, the citizens. The edible park is also an educational farm, especially for children. And we are using also the edible park as a brand, both for the direct selling of the products and also for the selling through the local GDO. What happened was that at the end of the public contribution, so early 2020, we found the project, the idea and the initiative in the so-called Valley of Death of Innovation, with the need to give a sort of new life to the park. So we decided with the E35 Foundation to manage this transition phase through a participatory process, including the edible park in the LIVERUR project as a living lab, as a case study for a living lab. Then, in this way, we renew the interest for the initiative, and 3 expressions of interest were received following the call for proposal that was published by the municipality of Reggio Emilia for the next 4-year management of the park. So at the end of this experience that started 5 years ago, we are quite satisfied both for the implementation of the multifunctional aspects and also for this new life that the edible park is living after the LIVERUR Living Lab.
Thanks, Paolo, to this contribution and to have explained how the multifunctionality is supporting the business activities. And now we move to the southern part of Italy with Sabina from the Trasimeno, asking how the multifunctionality has supported the local development at territorial level, in particular about food and with the local and rural development of your region.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this meeting. We're not in the south, we're right in the center of Italy. We're the green heart of Italy, Trasimeno. So food is potentially the most powerful tool to support local sustainable development. Not only food is part of the community in terms of traditions and belonging, it also has turned into the core of touristic business and communication trends. In the Trasimeno area, food, wine, and olive oil production represent a widespread system that directly or marginally involves every family. But it is only in recent years that the awareness, well, I even talk about pride of its relevance, is increasing among the population. Trasimeno areas may have suffered from being surrounded by big names. You know, we're very close to Tuscany, to Vieto, so the big names that everybody abroad knows. But we are witnessing interesting growth rates for food and wine tourism. Multifunctionality is a fact and a need for sustainability. Hospitality at Trasimeno is mainly rural. We have hundreds of agritourism, and so is becoming catering. We have no large hotels, no big production sites. Our economy is based on very small, often family businesses. The strategy we focus on with the LIVERUR project is actually networking. We need to work on circular economy, which can be the key issue for development. If only every shop or restaurant in the area were to offer local products, we would easily reward our agricultural productions with economic growth. More and more local products have reached what can be recognized as a... There is very bad noise. Okay. So more and more local products have reached what can be recognized as a brand. Lake fish as explorable products, the DOC wines, the award-winning extra virgin olive oil, and the fagiolina del Casignano, which is a bean, which is a kind of a superfood, the aiona, the kissing garlic, so the easy garlic, and the saffron are all becoming recognized as quality products. The main obstacle for us to reach a real circular economy lies above all in the inadequate knowledge and in ancestral individualism that leads to a lack of collaboration. So the project involved the stakeholders in identifying a tool that would facilitate the exchange and collaboration between those who offer products and services and those who can enrich their market by presenting and promoting what is excellence of our territory. The tool, which is under construction in this moment, is an internet.
Sorry, Sabrina. Sabrina, we cannot hear you very well. Sorry.
Yes.
I don't know if you can manage.
Yeah, I hear also noise, but
maybe
I hear noise, but I think I am,
because we have lost part of the.
There's a back noise, I don't know.
Maybe some headphone.
Should I? Do you hear me now?
Better.
Shall I mute? Anyone mute? I don't know.
It's better now.
Better?
Try again.
Shall I unmute? Okay. Shall I start again? Maybe.
Okay.
Shall I start again? Again from the beginning?
Okay, try again.
So food is. Okay. Now you hear me?
A little bit better.
You hear me?
A little bit better. Try again.
Allora, yes. You hear me now? I have a very good connection. I don't understand.
I can hear you.
Shall I mute my microphone? So
no, now I think that there is some problem, connection problem.
I have a perfect connection here.
I will try.
Shall I mute my microphone so you unmuted?
No, I think that is not a problem of maybe we can pass to the other question, and then I will try to get you back with a new question. If you can set maybe your situation with the internet connection.
Perfect.
Okay. I don't know. I will leave again the floor to Paolo, asking if you can better explain how the LIVERUR and RAIN framework has supported the multifunctionality idea of the edible park, telling us how has enhanced this multifunctionality. And then I will go back to Sabina.
Yes, thank you, Sabrina. As I said before, with the end of the public contribution, we found ourselves in the valley of innovation, with the need to give new life to the Edible Park initiative. So we decided, together with your institute, to launch the LIVERUR Living Lab at the Edible Park. Clearly, in doing this action, we followed the guidelines of the RAIN model. And in particular, we did this by addressing the 9 RAIN core elements 3 by 3 during 3 separate Living Lab meetings that were held online. In this way, in which we have worked on the rain core elements, while at the same time considering the rain principles. I can say that, I mean, sort of, automatically this led us to consider and touch the various aspects of the multifunctionality developed at the Edible Park. And this gives us the opportunity to go deeper into these various aspects of the multifunctionality. So it was sort of an automatic path. Following the RAIN model, we had the opportunity to go deep into the multifunctionality aspects.
Okay, thanks, Paolo. And to have underlined how much the framework of LIVERUR has supported this idea of multifunctionality, I will try to engage again Sabina, asking her if can try to provide an explanation about how the multifunctionality has supported the local development of the Trasimeno area. Maybe I will leave the floor to Rosa if you want to explain these points and get back to the LIVERUR framework.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Well, in the Trasimeno area, Unione dei Comuni del Trasimeno and Sogesca organized 5 workshops with the local stakeholders, trying to include all the representative entities of their territory. Following the RAIN model, to set up a living lab, it is necessary studying, first of all, the context from the economic, social, institutional, and environmental point of view. So after that, we invited to take part to this co-creation process the farmers and the agritourism owners who represent the core of the living lab, called the users, but also all the satellite stakeholders which cooperate with them. Like the local associations and organizations, the public entities, and the researchers that in our case are mainly represented by the University of Perugia. So we started analyzing the users' needs. It means their necessities in order to improve their business model and working conditions. Then we analyzed all their business models elements. Like, for example, the vision of business they have, the products and services they offer, people involved, marketing action, innovation research, and so on. Declining all these aspects in the 7 principles of the RAIN concept. It means the ecological sustainability, economic, social sustainability, the circular economy, the open innovation. I hear something in the back. Okay, can you hear me? Thank you. Also including the stakeholders' involvement and the ICT, so the information and communication strategy. This co-creation process gave us the instructions to implement actions which could maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. Sabrina, in our experience, I think multifunctionality is the main value of the rural living lab model. The local stakeholders, through the RAIN model, found the ground and the infrastructure in which to develop a continuous exchange of ideas, tools, vision, services, products, and so on. To apply this principle, it is fundamental that all the local entities and stakeholders cooperate together through a well-defined channel. channels. At the same time, the RAIN approach was essential to identify these channels. These channels, which in our case, for example, are the intranet web app for the users, or the touristic platform, and all the different roundtable to draft the Trasimeno area manifesto, in my opinion, are precisely the framework for a multifunctional approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose, for having underlined this importance of the networks and the networking between different competencies and role. I will try again to give the floor to Sabina if she wants to finalize her contribution. We will try.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Yes. Better?
Yes, better. Thanks.
Can you hear me? Okay. Shall I repeat everything? Yes, I probably. You have the time?
Okay. I think
Okay,
that
food is potentially the most food is potentially the most powerful tool to support local sustainable development. Not only food is part of the community in terms of tradition and belonging, it also has turned into the core of touristic business and communication trends. In this area, Trasimeno area, food, wine, and olive oil production represent a widespread system that directly or marginally involves every family. But it is only in recent years that the awareness of its relevance is increasing among the population. Multifunctionality is a fact and a need for sustainability. Hospitality at Trasimeno is mainly rural. We have hundreds of agriturismi. And so it's becoming catering. So no large hotels, no big production site. Our economy is based on very small, often families' businesses. So the strategies we focus on with the LIVERUR project is networking. We need to work on circular economy, which can be the issue for development. If only every shop or restaurant in the area were to offer local products, we would easily reward our agricultural productions with economic growth. More and more local products have reached what can be recognized as a brand. So this is true for the lake fish, for the DOC wines, the award-winning extra virgin oil, the fagiolina, the aglione, the saffron. They all becoming recognized as quality products. But the main obstacle we faced to reach a real circular economy lies above all in the inadequate knowledge and in an ancestral individualism that leads to lack of collaboration. The project, therefore, as Rose was saying, involved the stakeholders in identifying a tool that would facilitate the exchange and collaboration between those who offer products and services and those who can enrich their offer, their market, by presenting and promoting the excellence of the territory. The tool which is under construction in this moment is an intranet system for sharing information, collaboration tools, and operational systems. In addition to triggering an exchange system at local level, the intranet system could act on other areas. One is the fact that the supply side of agricultural products is often not adequate for a demand that needs flexibility and timeliness. Therefore, this process that favors mutual knowledge can restore balance to the market. The second point is that a lot of emphasis has also been given to the possibility of recovering waste from agricultural production, favoring its reintroduction into regeneration processes. So, in conclusion, I can say that talking the workshops we had, talking with the operators in terms of business creation and development models, helps to give effective perspective to the project and encourage participation, which is really our goal. Though I can say that we are at the beginning of a medium-term path that will need constant and a constant training effort. So I think it will take some time to get the results.
Thanks, Sabina, very much for having had. And so we have seen how much sustainability is the key asset for developing the businesses and the local development, including in a comprehensive idea in terms of social sustainability, economical sustainability, and environmental sustainability. So with the comprehensive idea of what are all the dimensions that we should develop both at business level, that at local development level. And so now we will move to some videos, two videos that we are going to show you, thanks to images, what we have tried to develop in our pilot areas. And so we hope that you can enjoy and understand better which are the activities that we have done.
I Briganti di Cerreto nasce dall'idea di un gruppo di amici che non volevano abbandonare Cerreto Alpi, che è il borgo dove sono nati e cresciuti, quindi nel 2003 si è pensato di invertire la rotta, rimboccandosi le maniche, cercando di mettere insieme le poche forze giovani rimaste. Si è andati dal notaio con 100 euro a testa di capitale sociale, si è costituita questa cooperativa che oggi, a distanza di 17 anni, dà da lavorare a 8 giovani del territorio.
I turisti che scelgono di venire a visitare il Parco Nazionale dell'Appennino Tosco-Emiliano ed in particolare il borgo di Cerreto Alpi e quindi la cooperativa dei Briganti di Cerreto fa una scelta differente, diciamo noi. È un turismo per pochi, è un turismo privilegiato dove il contatto con la natura, con le tradizioni della gente che vive nel borgo, dove le relazioni, dove i profumi, i sapori sono ancora genuini, sono ancora particolari. Non tutti, pensiamo, possono essere pronti e disponibili ad accettare un turismo di questo tipo, quello che oggi viene definito il turismo di comunità.
Qui siamo a Succiso, provincia di Reggio Emilia, aveva 1200 abitanti, erano rimaste 80 persone, praticamente erano scomparsi uno dopo l'altro tutti i servizi. Abbiamo costituito la cooperativa, volevamo vedere se eravamo in grado di poter fare qualcosa per chi abitava a Succiso. Abbiamo riaperto le due emergenze che per noi erano essenziali, il bar e il mini market. Abbiamo ripristinato un'attività storica come quella della pastorizia, facevamo circa 80 quintali di formaggio pecorino, ci siamo inventati imprenditori di noi stessi, un territorio come il nostro poteva essere caratterizzato se proponeva un menù e dei prodotti del posto. Quindi tutto quello che l'abbiamo fatto perché tenevamo alla nostra comunità. Vogliamo che chi viene a Succiso ritorni perché quando è andato via ha lasciato un qualcosa e ha ricevuto qualcosa.
Io sono Lucia, dell'orto di Lucia, e siamo a Canali, al Parco Commestibile. Nasce a Reggio Emilia nel 2016 ed è un esempio di azienda multifunzionale per la agroforestazione delle zone periurbane. Siamo a qualche chilometro a sud di Reggio Emilia e noi abbiamo un'azienda biologica con alcuni aspetti della biodinamica da alcuni anni, pur non avendo tradizioni in questo senso, e quindi stiamo cercando di capire cosa dobbiamo fare e di farlo al meglio delle nostre possibilità. Abbiamo partecipato a dei workshop in modo da avere contributi di varie fette della cittadinanza. E la nostra filosofia sarebbe quella di avere la maggiore biodiversità possibile. Quindi non avremo monocolture, ma avremo proprio un grande orto con tante prese, con diverse colture. E la nostra filosofia quindi è quella di dare un cibo sano, un cibo stagionale a chilometri zero alla gente che lo vorrà. Quindi il più fresco possibile, coltivato nel modo che noi pensiamo sia il migliore, e insieme a questo quindi forniremo energie sottili anche alle persone attraverso questo nutrimento buono e sano, e anche tuteleremo questo pezzo di territorio. Collaboriamo con la cooperativa Lovile e Ecosapiens della cooperativa Lovile per l'inserimento di soggetti fragili, svantaggiati, ex detenuti, quindi avremo qualche progetto anche in questa direzione.
Trasimeno Living Lab is located in Umbria region between Rome and Florence. This rural territory includes Trasimeno Lake and 8 municipalities full historical, cultural and religious heritage. The landscape is dominated by vineyards, olive groves, cereal, vegetable crops and deciduous forest. This context is very attractive for the tourism. The main challenge of our pilot area was to improve the rural and touristic economy, starting from the local stakeholders' needs. We interviewed many of them.
Sono Mara Sharma, imprenditrice agricola, titolare di agriturismo e fattoria didattica. Credo che proporre esperienze autentiche da vivere in tranquillità come lo slow tourism qualifichi la nostra proposta turistica incentivando l'economia rurale e rispettando il territorio.
Salve, sono Aurelio Cocchino, presidente della cooperativa pescatori del Trasimeno. Noi siamo una impresa a basso impatto ambientale. Da anni collaboriamo con le imprese locali e grazie al network Living Lab potremmo migliorare questa collaborazione.
I'm Leslie Busby from the Pacciano Market Association. As an association, we believe that in smallness, it's easier to find synergies and to network, setting an example for other realities in the territory. Our initiative aims to enhance local agricultural and artisanal production, according to a model based on the circular economy and social inclusion.
The Living Lab meetings and workshops have been focused in a manifesto of intents for the Trasimeno community following the ONU 2030 agenda goals and subscribed by the mayors of all the municipalities and by other local associations and organizations. An intranet web app to enhance the cooperation and the services and products exchange among the Living Lab users. A touristic platform carried on by La Strada del Vino Colli del Trasimeno Association to sponsor the touristic activities of the area. Promote a synergic cooperation with Perugia University and local entities, finalize a long-term planning to preserve and enhance the environment aspect in a logic of vision, cohesion and competence.
Welcome back to the second roundtable. The topic of the second roundtable is related to how the multifunctional activities can be a leverage for innovating business, especially the touristic business. The speakers invited to this table are Sara Manfredini of Lega Coop Emilia Ovest, Sabina Cantarelli, President of La Strada del Vino Colli del Trasimeno Association, and Giulio Cherubini, President of Unione dei Comuni del Trasimeno. Thank you for coming. Let's start with Sara Manfredini. Sara, how the touristic business model has been developed within the Living Lab approach in Reggio Emilia pilot?
Hello, thank you for the question. Can you hear me just to check if the audio, okay, yes. So I can go on, thank you. So first of all, I would like to to just briefly introduce which kind of touristic business model we developed in our area. Our touristic business model is focused on the so-called experiential travel offers, community tourism, it has been developed starting from the experience of the two community cooperatives that you just saw in the video. They are both located in the area of the Tuscan and Emilian Apennines in Italy, and they are Briganti di Cerreto and Valle dei Cavalieri that you have just heard some words about their histories in the video. And they represent a very successful and a good example of social and economic innovation actions because they were born and developed thanks to a direct initiative by local inhabitants that we faced in these areas, such as the population and the loss of services. So they have been offering community tourism activities since many years. They are strongly experienced in such kind of tourism, but through the Living Lab approach, we had the chance to rethink about it and to implement the experiential tourism model, also considering the strong impact that the pandemic had on this economic sector. And this was possible thanks to a direct and a very successful exchange and dialogue with many actors coming from different fields. And so we are talking about other touristic businesses that work on this area. For instance, just to mention one of the main other business in the area, we are talking about rural enterprises such as Parmigiano Reggiano cheese factories that we have in our area. So we connect the two kind of experience to enrich the business model. And public bodies, and in particular, I have to mention the Appennino Tosco-Emiliano National Park, which is the local body which manage the area in terms of environmental protection and so on. And other association active on the environmental protection and education field, such the so-called CAI, so the Italian Alpine Club. And we can say that thanks to the Living Lab approach, we had the chance to enrich a consolidated touristic business model. And so we could enlarge the offer with different kind of experiences to live this area, and thus making more attractive the offer and the area and the territory to end users. And last but not least, also to enlarge the potential of target and tourists to welcome in the area by the two cooperatives.
Thank you very much, Sara. Now I would like to ask to Sabina. Sabina, how can you imagine a way to spread the seasonal tourism flow during the whole year? And how can the rural business model benefit from the tourism process?
Well, the strong seasonality of our tourist flow represents a significant problem because it limits employment and business to the summer period. It also affects the general quality level of the touristic offer and the structural investments. So seasonal adjustment is a goal that our territory has set itself for sustainable economical growth development. The climate mitigated by the lake, the suggestive agricultural phases like harvesting of grapes and olive, and the landscape itself offer a great opportunity for slow and quality tourism, even in autumn and in spring and maybe winter too. The recent pandemic has highlighted the positive aspects of life in small villages and in the countryside. So we activated 3 main tools to seasonally adjust touristic flows. The first one is similar to what Reggio Emilia did, I have to say, to promote experiential and slow tourism. Nowadays, we know that the tourist focus isn't only on where to go, but especially on what to do. Experiential tourism is a fast-growing trend all over the world, but it is a key issue for a smaller destination like ours. With the increase of the desire of new experiences also increases the desire of interaction with the territory, which is very interesting for us. So these kind of travelers know how to make use of the internet to find the most suitable proposals and ideas based on their interests. This kind of tourism is linked not only to outdoor activities like trekking or biking, which we have a lot here, but very strongly to food, wines, and agricultural production. So it's meaningful to put these things together. The Association Strada del Vino acts as a destination managing organization of the area on behalf of the municipalities and the producer, and is a partner of the LIVERUR team. We have led a process to build a specific service, a specific web app and a booking system that allows tourists to easily find tourist attractors, book a visit or an activity. It is not the tool itself that makes the difference, but the work of actually meeting hundreds of operators, producers, local association, also through a huge database that we built together with LIVERUR Project, and helping these operators to prepare an offer in terms of products and service for tourists. The need to speak the language, the need to have availabilities, to structure their offer. And many additions to this system have come from the agricultural producers. We are now in the phase of launching this platform with the cooperation of the local administration and all the hospitality system. So it's it works if there is a large participation. So this is our first tool. The second one is to promote South living. An interesting data relating to Trasimeno is the high number of residents, foreign residents, mostly from Northern Europe, who have chosen to live here where they can find pleasant lifestyle. Still, for now, they are mostly retirees. Some municipalities in this process of meetings and strategies in the LIVERUR projects have chosen to offer special facilities for new residents in the villages that often faced, as was said before, depopulation. Homes refurbishment, gardening, connected with these new residents provide economic growth and work also for farmers. Another interesting development was done on local markets of regional products. There is one especially started in Pacciano with large involvement of the people from Pacciano that create a friendly and easy relationship among farmers and residents. The third third strategy is to promote home working. Well, actually, we have a lot of infrastructural conditions that need to be enhanced and invested on. Better mobility, good internet system, which is very rare in this area. So some opportunities are and so this is also a project that started now with this project, but it's a medium-term goal, of course. So these are briefly what are the things we have done at Trasimeno.
Very good. Thank you very much, Sabina. Yeah, for sure, the infrastructure in general is the main problem, more or less everywhere, especially in Italy. But okay, the good intention and the good purpose can bring us far. So now a question for Giulio Cherubini, the president of Unione dei Comuni del Trasimeno. Giulio, in your opinion, which is the importance of a local stakeholders network to implement a touristic offer and the whole interest area? And which are the tools utilized and the key actor to involve? Please.
Well, Trasimeno area historically consists of a small constellation of territories. Their communities have been living for many years in a poorly integrated way, despite the historical important evidence of contamination, which gave birth to craftsmanship experience in knowledge of landscape, fishing, and agriculture. Even within the 8 municipalities of Trasimeno area, we can find historical differences and different development directions with experiences, peculiarities, and attractions often isolated and self-referential. This also happened in tourism development. Compared to nearby Tuscany, for example, it took many more years to Trasimeno local institution to structure unitary policies of area development and promotion. This historical and cultural vision has conditioned all the stakeholders. Many of the economic operators until 90s focused on their own business, looking little at network development. Then the territory began to organize itself in a network vision and experience to develop a very attractive identity, built in a unique habitat, a very large and shallow laminar lake surrounded by medieval villages. The institutions of the area have created organizations who have built common actions and projects, such as Comunità Montana Monti del Trasimeno at the beginning of the century. 4 years ago, Unione dei Comuni del Trasimeno was born, and among the various actions, it also has that the unitary tourism development. Economic operators of tourist accommodations like URAT have joined, and today they represent an important engine in the development of a reception network. Companies and cooperatives in the food and wine world have built a unitary promotion entity named La Strada del Vino, which now, with the contribution of institutions and hotel keepers, become DMO of Trasimeno area, with the ability to implement development projects, even those financed by different institutions, to build services and actions to raise the quality of the tourist offer, driven by typical products of Trasimeno area. Perugia University, with the Unione dei Comuni, realized a horizontal participation project with ideas for our future, born in a brainstorming process with many researchers and scientists who, for the realization of the services that will be to be realized and made available by the institutions. The many associations of Trasimeno are important stakeholders for their action in social and economic life, from the rediscovery and promotion of landscape itineraries to the attention to environmental policies and wildlife conservation, from social inclusion actions with the municipalities to cultural events, which are so important for tourism. The key to strategic action and in synergy among all the stakeholders is horizontal participation, where everyone can bring their own experience. LIVERUR project is a prime example of this strategy, able to open a continuous confrontation between institutions, local and non-local, associations, businesses, category representatives, and scientific research. It is able to overcome historical differences and develop a greater awareness of the difficulties that every stakeholder encounters and of the prime actions to promote the area. Thanks to this strategic action and thanks to the protagonism of the mentioned stakeholders, a renewed awareness of the importance of a supportive community is being created. With the purpose of working together, sharing common needs and requirements to realize actions, that respond to those
Thank you,
needs.
Giulio, and
Thank you.
thanks also to Sabina and Sara for the intervention. So, from our guest intervention, we can truly state that the multifunctional approach promoted by the RAIN business model is the leverage to innovate tourism in rural areas, and the networking among the different local actors is the key to develop a strong territorial cohesion and express all the potential of the community to the fullest. So many thanks to all speakers again, and now to the French pilot region video. Thank you.
Nous sommes surtout un territoire d'élevage. Qui dit élevage dit souvent des prairies, des préservations en général plus importantes de ces milieux naturels que sont les zones humides. Nous avons candidaté parce que ça nous a semblé complètement opportun de travailler sur la méthode et sur une thématique. Et notre thématique, nous, c'était la question de l'eau, la qualité de l'eau. Alors on n'est pas les seuls. Nos collègues du nord du département, sur le secteur d'Oderval, travaillent sur la problématique d'améliorer le bilan énergétique sur leur territoire.
J'ai été intégré au projet LIVERUR parce qu'on a des parcelles sur le bassin versant qui sont concernées justement pour la qualité de l'eau, et on était tous autour de la table. Tous les acteurs étaient réunis et pouvaient échanger sur des évolutions à avoir, des questions à se poser et des actions à faire. Donc il y avait Atlantico, les agriculteurs du territoire, les prescripteurs de coopératives et privées. Il y avait aussi les coopératives d'utilisation de matériel agricole qui étaient présentes pour voir ensemble justement les perspectives à avoir au niveau du matériel. C'est sur le désherbage de maïs qu'on a trouvé des actions rapides à faire et qui peuvent être efficaces. Et le LIVERUR a vraiment permis de diffuser ce qui pouvait être fait et les améliorations encore à apporter. Et grâce au LIVERUR, on a pu aussi avoir un peu plus de perspectives d'évolution et comme ça d'achat de matériel qui correspondent à des objectifs, notamment de rapidité.
Ce qui est plaisant, c'est qu'au bout de 2 ans, on a du résultat. On est passé de 250 hectares désherbés mécaniquement à 1000 hectares désherbés mécaniquement.
Hello everyone, I'm Patricia from the communication team of LIVERUR, and now we want to stand out the presence of RUBIZMO, another project with which we serve some areas. We are coming to talk about our key experience on the summer school, okay? And now I give the way to Brenda.
Hi, good afternoon, and greetings from a very sunny West Galway in the west of Ireland. We're in the middle of a heat wave here, so I'm not sure how many Irish visitors to this YouTube program today will be here. I'd imagine that quite a few might be catching up afterwards. Okay, so I'm here, I work, I'm part of the the RUBIZMO project. Sorry. And this summer we have come together with 4 other European Union Horizon projects to deliver a summer school Now, those projects are RUBIZMO ourselves, you might be familiar with, LIVERUR, you obviously know quite well, ruralization, polyrural, and also Ruritage. Now, what all those projects have in common is we're all obviously about rural enterprise and tourism and heritage. Now, there's a very kind of a blurred distinction, at least in a lot of cases, between those three sectors. So what we felt was all our projects have so much in common, and we're all essentially, when it comes down to it, trying to reach a similar enough audience and trying to ensure that our tools are used by, you know, the same type of people, rural stakeholders, be it farmers, be it rural local authority figures or local politicians, rural advisors, people who work in leader companies, people who work in colleges or schools, or just people who work in local rural community development. And that's something that's really kind of came through clear in our summer school, is that connection between rural community development and rural enterprise. It's really one and the same thing. So it's something that's jumped out to us. Now, just to explain the summer school, so what we've done is over 4 Saturdays, the 7th of July, the 13th or 14th, yesterday, the 20th, and next week will be the 27th and the 3rd of August, from 10:30 to 1 p.m. CE time, European time. We've brought our partners and we've asked them to, you know, take over a breakout session for maybe 30-45 minutes. And we've broken our audience, which is typically 40 or 50 people, and we put people into rooms so that they can have a breakout session with each of the, you know, with maybe 10 people. And these 10 people could be really strong stakeholders in rural enterprise development. So today I'm delighted to be joined by Michael from the European Commission. Hi, Michael, and also Antoni from one of our partners, Polyrural. So myself and Antoni will be talking through our projects, and we'll be talking through the challenges and the purpose, I guess, of this summer school and how it's going. So I'll start off by introducing the RUBIZMO project. So the RUBIZMO project, it's a 3-year project. I'm joined also now, I see, by my colleague Michellle from ruralization. So nice to see you. Michellle has joined us from the Canary Islands, and Antoni is in Spain. So I'll just start off by introducing RUBIZMO. And RUBIZMO is a 3-year project, and we're coming to the end now. It's focused on food, bio-based value chains and ecosystem services. So those 3 interlinked areas, and the idea of the project really was to develop a suite of tools that can be used by actors, either individual rural entrepreneurs or rural, I call influencers, people who can actually make sure these tools get used by other people in the practice of their work. So the 3 main tools that we have developed in RUBIZMO, we've developed a library of what we consider best practice, examples of best practice innovative rural businesses from right across Europe. So in that library, we have 3 categories. It can be searched under categories, or people can just do a general walk around the library. But it comes about as a result of maybe 200 interviews and meetings with actual enterprises on the ground. Now, they can be small, tiny rural enterprises, or larger enterprises. And over a period of time, a case study was carried out on each of these rural enterprises, and that is subsequently fed into the library. So the library is there to inspire, I guess, in the first case, because oftentimes we find that people interested in rural enterprise don't know where to start. They're maybe farming all their life and they want to change, or they want to kind of tweak that farm, but they just don't have examples of best practice. So we kind of come from the position that if you can see it, you can do it. So our logic, if we can see something in the regions in Poland, an innovative idea, there's no reason why it works over there. There's no reason why it can't work in Ireland. So for instance, just very simple examples that come to mind is we've introduced snail farming now in Ireland, that is completely new to the Irish farming landscape. But thanks to RUBIZMO, now there's quite a few farmers are looking at it and thinking, maybe I'll devote an acre of my farm, maybe my cattle beef farm, to a snail farm. We've also, other things, we've like tourist activities that are farms that were working farms that became tourist activity farms, or with cases, there's all sorts of different things. So that's our first tool. Our second tool, to briefly move on, is it's based on the business model canvas, and the idea is to allow people to use the canvas to showcase business models. So while in the first tool, the library showcases business, the second is focused on business models, and the canvas allows people to implement that particular model. And it's all online, and they're interactive tools, and they're very straightforward. And our third tool then is a networking creation tool, and we've understand the importance of networking there. So I'm going to quickly, I'll hand over now to Antoni, who will explain briefly his project and I guess what he hopes to get from the summer school. So Antoni, if I could just hand over to yourself. If you can hear me okay.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Brendan. And good afternoon to everyone. So yes, I'm going to explain a bit about Polyrural. Polyrural, it's also an Horizon 2020 project. It's a 3-year RIA project. The title is a future-oriented collaborative policy development for rural areas and people. And the goal of the project, very brief, is to give a set of knowledge resources, including learning environment where rural populations, researchers, and policymakers come together to address common problems. An evaluation exercise that uses text mining to assess perceived effectiveness of past or planned policy interventions, and a foresight study that is going to collect the development trajectory of agriculture and its allied sectors until 2040, using several scenarios in which the evolution of rural population occupies a central place. Yes, as a result of these activities, Polyrural will leave decision makers at different levels of government better equipped to tackle existing and emerging rural challenges. Rural populations more empowered and rural areas more resilient. So to compare with the other European projects, especially RUBIZMO and LIVERUR, I think Polyrural is more broad in the focus. So it focuses on the rural ecosystem as a whole. The idea of Polyrural is for the local communities to know what their ecosystem is like. So to have the overall picture. That's why I presented yesterday a system dynamic model. For Polyrural, this is a key tool for the foresight exercise. And the idea of the system dynamic model that I'm leading in Polyrural is just that, to understand the functioning of a rural ecosystem. What's the interaction between the different layers, being a social layer, economic layer, but also natural layer or agricultural layer. So that's why we developed this system dynamic model in its 3rd edition now. And what we are doing with this template model is trying to adapt it to the 12 pilot regions we have in the project. We have 12 pilot regions spread all over Europe and Middle East, and we are doing this task of adapting the template model to all these regions. And this will be part of the foresight exercise. So the idea of the model is not to predict behaviors, but to have an idea of what is really happening in the area and how to incorporate, how to introduce global trends in the model and see what future scenarios may look like. That's why I like it very much. Well, and going, Brendan, if you allow me to, going to the summer school experience.
Yeah, if you could just
a few words.
Please just.
I thank Brendan for inviting us, Polyrural, to participate in the summer school. For me, it has been very interesting to see the approach of the other European projects. I was impressed by the Canvas tool by RUBIZMO, but also the approach given by LIVERUR and the trends, the global trends that ruralization worked in. So what I see is that we all are complementary approaches, and that we are kind of setting the foundations for the next step. So I see these projects and also Polyrural as pieces of what can be a future development of rural development in Europe.
Okay, great, Antoni. Now I'll quickly hand over to Michellle, who I know is she's joining us there from the Canary Islands, one of my most favorite parts of the world. So Michellle, I'll hand over to you there.
Thank you, Brendan. Also, you know that I am trying to conciliate work and family, so my children are running somewhere and they could interrupt at any time. So I will be very short. I want to join Antoni in saying that I was really very happy to share our experience with other projects and to learn from them, because we all together we are developing a useful tool to feed new policies for rural development in the coming years and to build new knowledge. So in that sense, we shared our experience with the trend cards, which were the result of a foresight analysis that we did. As for Polyrural, we did not have a prescriptive approach. We just want to describe those trends that might in some way affect rural areas in across Europe. So this was the main result we proposed yesterday, and we share with the participants, along with the inventory of dreams of young people in so the rural dreams. So what young people aged between 18 and 30 are like somehow dreaming for their future in rural areas, which I think give us also a really good perspective on the demand of citizens with respect to rural possibilities and opportunities. So for me, the summer school was really an enriching experience, an enriching moment. We had also a very good experience with we had also a very good experience with the participants, so with the participants to the summer school, apart from the other colleagues from other projects. So overall, it has been really a good opportunity for us.
Great.
So I wanted to thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Michellle. And I know you have your hands full. I think just in summary, we're 2 days into the summer school. We have 2 more days. So to find it, go to RUBIZMO social media and you'll find it. I think what we've discovered so far really is that we have all the very common challenges in terms of actually reaching people on the ground. And for all our projects, it's an ongoing challenge to turn kind of complicated ideas into usable tools. So it's something we're kind of working our way through this summer school. For those of you who didn't attend the first 2 days they'll all be recorded and they'll eventually be on our YouTube channels. So I think that's really our conclusion, is that we recognize how much we have in common, and mostly this common challenge in reaching people at different levels. But you know, it's an ongoing challenge for us. So I'm delighted now to close this to close this table and hand back to the main room.
Okay, so thank you very much all you for your participation in this roundtable, and also thank you, Michellle, for being present today. And now I would like to introduce another video for our partners from Spain.
Somos la Asociación para el Desarrollo Rural Integrado de los municipios Vega del Segura, que estamos dentro de un proyecto en el marco europeo del Horizonte 2020 que se llama LIVERUR. Nuestro trabajo como zona piloto es el estudio de nuevos modelos de negocio, por lo que hemos implantado un Living Lab en el municipio de Abarán. Trata de un contenedor para reciclado de basura orgánica de los hogares de este municipio.
Estamos en la primera fase del proyecto LIVERUR, que es donde se sitúa el contenedor marrón de recogida de residuos orgánicos. Esta recogida se hace a través de 50 familias del municipio de Abarán, a las cuales se les entregó una tarjeta para que puedan ir utilizando el sistema automático de recogida de residuos.
Aquí comienza la segunda fase del proyecto en las instalaciones de la empresa que colabora con nosotros en la experiencia piloto, Orgánico Pedrín, y en este caso lo que se ha realizado ha sido la compra de una compostadora que vemos aquí para depositar el residuo sólido que viene por parte del contenedor que hemos visto anteriormente.
Una vez que el material orgánico debidamente seleccionado y sin impropio entra en nuestras instalaciones de Orgánicos Pedrín, se le adiciona un acelerador, en este caso un estiércol de ovino, para que el proceso de compostaje se inicie. Durante toda la etapa del proceso se van a monitorizar a través de seguimiento de distintos parámetros, entre ellos humedad y temperatura. Semanalmente se procederá a la agitación permanente del producto para garantizar que toda la masa de producto alcanza lo que nosotros denominamos la condición de fermentación, es decir, que superará seguramente valores por encima de esos 60 grados centígrados. Ese proceso de compostaje es el que va a garantizar que al final el producto sea homogéneo y sea muy adecuado para las fincas experimentales, que en este caso serán huertos municipales. El producto final resultante que se aplique al campo será perfectamente caracterizado y analizado para verificar que el proceso de compostaje in situ ha sido el adecuado y que no contiene ningún elemento que pudiera ser a priori perjudicial para el uso final al que se va a destinar.
So, thank you very much, everyone that has participated today at this event, and also for all of the interaction in Twitter. It's been a pleasure to count on you today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning in order to talk about the digitalization of the pilot projects. Thank you very much, and best regards.